Hey guys, how's it going? The Whiffy here, Unicorn Gaming. And today we're going to finish off that three-part video on the different relics in Torchlight 3. These relics, wonderful tools to use, every character with a good amount of combinations for different characters, for different relic classes, all to be put together to make something more unique for you and that fits your playstyle. Or maybe you just want to play everything the game has to offer. That's something you can do as well. The relics allow you to do that. Before we begin finding out what the final two relics can offer you, go ahead down below and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button for me if you like my content. It really helps with the algorithm to get discovered more, and it'll introduce you to my new content every time I make a new video, whether it be part of Torchlight 3 or another series that I may be working on. Wink wink. Now what do you say? We go ahead and dive right on in the most electrifying aspect of this game. Electrode! Electrode is a relic of energy. This means that you'll be using lightning to enhance your attacks and deal massive damage to your enemies, as well as stopping abilities from being cast by them if they're able to take the shocking damage. As I mentioned in my last two videos, each of the relic tiers is tied to your level. The first being unlocked level 1, level 5 for tier 2, level 10 for tier 3, 15 for tier 4, and finally 20 for tier 5. We're going to start on the left hand side. Please note that any skills here on the left and on the right are by class and not relic. These do not matter for your relic choices, as they are special to your class that you choose at the start of the game. Your first ability is Localized Storm. This calls down a storm around you but drains your relic energy, lasting until that energy is depleted. Storm calls down lightning every second. It deals 270% weapon damage as electric. All nearby allies will also receive 25% more damage and gain a 10% movement speed bonus. Due to this being an active skill, you receive tiers. At tier 1, Storm strikes more often. That is big for your damage output, especially as it uses your relic energy. Tier 2 reduces the cost by 25%. This is even bigger, as this means your damage output is going to be massive. In tier 3, Localized Storm strikes 2 enemies each time. That is huge for your damage output, especially if you're in melee range and have a lot of enemies around you. Your next ability, which is your first passive, is Shocking Display. Electrode delights in being used, creating 2% chance to release shock bolts that deal 100% weapon damage when you slay a shocked foe. This can increase 5 times, as all passives do. Again, all actives can increase 10 times. Your next tier, at tier 2, is your next passive, Shocking Force. This best synergizes with a mace, and it increases your basic attack damage by 10% per point, increases relic energy generation while using basic attacks, and has a chance on basic hit to triple zap foe. Your next ability is Chaotic Strikes. It's an active skill, and it summons 2 storms that move chaotically away from you, dealing 400 weapon damage as electric. Again, because this is a active skill, you receive tier bonuses. Tier 1 fires an additional Chaotic Strike. Tier 2 has a 50% chance to stun, and Tier 3 cuts the cost in half. This means that you're going to be dealing a massive amount of damage, potentially stunning the enemy, and doing it in half the cost. In your next tier, you'll receive Lightning Barrier. Channel a protective electric field around yourself, increasing block chance by 25% for 6 seconds. While active, periodically release shock bolts at nearby enemies, dealing 100% weapon damage as electric. Because it's an active skill again, you get a tier boost. Pass through enemies with Lightning Barrier active is tier 1. 50% duration is 2, and Lightning Barrier shock bolt frequency increased is tier 3. Your next passive is going to be Tingling Sensation. Makes me tingle just thinking about it, doesn't it? 2% chance to shock enemies on hit for 3 seconds, releasing 3 shock bolts that deal 50% weapon damage. The number of shock bolts can be increased, and the chance can be increased up to 5 times due to it being a passive. As you increase your level to level 15, you unlock your next row at Lightning Strike. This is another passive. It gives a 2% chance to call down Lightning Strike when you hit a shocked enemy and deals 100% weapon damage. Because it's passive, you have 5 levels to it, and you can increase that up to 10% chance when you hit a shocked enemy. If you have a massive AoE with some shocking ability on it, you're really going to be hitting this often. Your next active ability is to conjure Electrode. Surge power through the Electrode itself, conjuring it as a targeted location for 8 seconds. Electrode will periodically fire shock bolts, dealing 135% weapon damage as electric, and it costs 50 energy. Because it is an active skill, at tier 1, it grants you plus 25% attack speed. At tier 2, it stuns enemies for 3 seconds, and tier 3, Conjuring Electrode grants you plus 25 cast speed during its duration. When you hit level 20, you get your final tier, which unlocks 1000-volt burst. Blast electric shockwaves from your location, damaging enemies for 585 weapon damage as electric. 10 seconds after casting, increase your attack and cast speed by 50%. Can be used after spending a maximum total of 200 relic energy. And because it's an active skill, you get tier boost. Tier 1 sends shock missiles at enemies for 5 seconds. Tier 2, you get 100% 1000-volt burst buff duration bonus. That increases off the above 10-second buff that you get for using the ability. Tier 3 fires missiles leaving behind electric fields, dealing 55% weapon damage as electric, and they last for 8 seconds. It's a massive skill, and if you're level 20, you better be maxing this one out too. Finally, your last passive, as with all others, is the Energizer Bunny. Or just Energizer. Take your pick. Increase relic recharge rate for 6 seconds after using relic skill, attack, or barrier. This will increase your relic energy generation and really get you into the fight using a lot of different abilities throughout your time. Now, if you're only here for the Electrode segment, you can go ahead and drop off this video. This is the time where I give you a little break in between the next relic. That way you don't have to sit here and watch the entire video if you don't want to. But if you would, you could always leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on Electrode, if you've tried it, and what combinations you seem to like the most. I can't wait to hear from you, and I plan to try it myself as well. And now that the shocking experience is over, why don't we just get a little bit warm over here with the Flaming Destroyer! Flaming Destroyer is your big fire damage ability. This ability is going to get you the maximum amount of burn damage it can on every type of hit you have. This synergizes best with your great weapons, your great axe, your great sword, those big two-handed powerful weapons that you love so much. In your first tier, you get Sword Smash. Summons an ethereal sword that smashes into the enemies in front of you, dealing 450% weapon damage as fire. As an active ability, it has tiers and can be leveled up to 10 times. Sword Smash, at tier 1, it leaves a hazard that deals the skill's current weapon damage and lasts 4 seconds. Tier 2, it stuns enemies for 1 second, and tier 3, it cuts the relic energy cost in half. Your next ability is going to be your first passive ability, and this can only be leveled up 5 times. This gives you a 5% chance to burn enemies for 50% weapon damage for 3 seconds. You also gain a 2.5% evasion chance per point spent. Each level increases burn chance and evasion chance. Your next tier, unlocked at level 5, is Magma Burst. When you kill an enemy, there's a 4% chance they'll explode, and when you critically hit a burning enemy, there's a 1% chance they'll explode, both dealing 45% weapon damage, increasable up to 10 times. Increasable up to 5 times. This is massive for your crazy amount of damage you want to do in an AoE form. Your next active ability is Blazing Pillar. Conjure a pillar of fire that seeks out enemies for 8 seconds, dealing 135% weapon damage as fire per second. Because it's active, you get tier bonuses. The first tier shoots out fireballs, dealing 100% weapon damage. Second tier slows enemies by 50%. And the third tier adds a second fire pillar. This will make massive amounts of damage for you and really burn those enemies down to the ground. At level 10, you unlock your next tier, which gives you the passive Giant Swings. Like all others, this increases your basic attack damage, increases relic generation on hit. However, this does give you the ability to hit with a flame shockwave. Your next ability is an active Cloak of Flames. Wrap yourself in a cloak of flames that drains your relic energy, lasting until the relic is depleted. The Ring of Fire burns enemies for 160% weapon damage per second as fire. While active, all allies nearby gain 25% more damage and 10% evasion. Because it's active, you get tiers. Tier 1 is additional 50% radius to Cloak of Flames. Tier 2 is dropping the cost by 25%. And Tier 3 releases a fireball randomly around you, dealing skills current weapon damage while Cloak of Flame is active. This means you're going to be dealing a lot of damage around you and increasing the maximum damage output you have on your attacks and stopping yourself from getting hit, because really, don't you want to just not be touched sometimes? Level 15, you unlock the next tier, which gives you the next active, Nimble Flames. Surround yourself in dancing flames, blast enemies with 2 fire novas that deal 125% weapon damage as fire, granting a 20% evasion chance and creating additional fire novas on evasion. Because it's active, you get some more tier bonuses. You get a 20% evasion nimbleness. Jeez, oh man, it puts you at 40% in evasion? You even get touched with this? At tier 2, Fire Nova sets targets burning for 2 seconds. And at tier 3, leaves behind a burning area on cast. Your next passive is going to be Firestorm. When you hit a burning foe, there's a 10% chance Flaming Destroyer will drop a fireball on them for 40% weapon damage. The fireball's damage increases 10% per point spent up to 5 points. At level 20, you get your final row, giving you Summoning Smash. Call forth 6 massive flaming swords that crash down from above, devastating enemies in the area for 725% weapon damage as fire, and it burns all survivors for an additional 725% weapon damage for 6 seconds. It can be used after spending 200 relic energy. And because it's inactive, of course, you get the tiers. Tier 1 gives you a 5% chance to summon a single falling sword onto an enemy, 4-second cooldown. Tier 2, Summoning Smash now calls down a hail of meteors, dealing 40% weapon damage on hit. And Tier 3 drops a sword dealing skills current weapon damage onto a random target every second for 5 seconds. That is massive damage from this ability, probably one of the most devastating abilities in the game. Your final skill is a passive, Energizer. Become more attuned to your relic, increasing relic energy charge rate, 5% per point spent. And with that, guys, that's Flaming Destroyer. I want to hear some of your builds with this, some of your ideas on how you can best utilize this relic class as well, with whatever character you choose to go, and whatever side of the skill trees you like to go with the most. I really want to hear what kind of damage you're doing, especially with this weapon, as this was one of my favorites in the early access portion of the game. And I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing with that. As I said before, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your build is. I want to hear about it. I want to thank you guys for watching my video, catching up on a series of relics and what they do for your character, what each one is described as, and what it can do as the game goes forward. I really hope you like these videos, this series. I'm going to be coming out with some videos pretty soon now on different builds I'm doing. Currently, I'm working on a sharpshooting summoner. That is a sharpshooter that has a lot of summons using the Bane class. One of my more favorite classes at this point in time. I love Railmaster with Bane, but this feels way better at me. I'm going to be making a few more videos around this. Those will be coming up as I get further in the game with it. Unfortunately, I haven't had a whole lot of time. As of the shooting of this video, I am about a week and a half away from moving, so unfortunately that's taking a lot of time out of my day. Packing, getting things ready, a lot of the logistics with everything. But once I'm done moving, expect some more videos more frequently. Hopefully going to be putting up 2 videos on Torchlight 3 per week. Potentially dropping down to 1 video on Torchlight 3 and adding another game as well. But I hope you guys like this series. As always, go down below and hit the subscribe and like button if you like the video and if you want alerts so you know when there's going to be more videos coming out. And as always, have fun, stay safe, and keep on gaming.